There we are. Go live. Yeah, it's kind of early in the morning to be doing this bullshit, but you know, I'm pissed. All right, this is why I understand that it's a necessary thing for the purple pill. It's a necessary thing for to get things resolved by having conversation, even though I don't like it. People think I like the table. I don't. I like to keep a clean cut, even though I ran a women's channel for like 2.5 years. I don't like women in the men's space for a very good reason, because women are fucking messy. And then they make the men messy, because the men that actually identify with them and co-sign with them, they're messy too. But I tolerate the purple pill, and I tolerate the females if they're respectful. And I try to support them if I can, like the breakdown, Sister Georgia and Concrete Rose, even though they said some very controversial stuff and we've disagreed, and we really disagreed, and I've disagreed to their face, and I've actually done videos and shorts on them, disagreeing to their face. And one thing I don't need is commentators, really, for the most part, agitators to come in and sow dissension. When all my stuff is public, they could have just pointed her to my video and let them decide for themselves. So I get up in this morning, I get up in the morning, to do my morning constitution, and I check my stuff, and I get a mention. And I get a mention from, as you can see it, Mrs. Queen Sunkissed, about me lying on Sister George and Concrete Rose. So I click the video, and it's only like a minute and 18 seconds, right? And most of it is repeats. Like half of it is just me repeating, calling them insufferable. Okay. Evidently, she says I was downing them. I think in an earlier video, because I said I was downing them, actually wasn't. I was actually commenting on them talking about the red pill. Okay, calling this a bitch space, or whatever they call it, a bitch space instead of a male space. It's a bitch complaining space, something like that. Okay. And I commented fairly enough. I disagree with it. I talked about, in fact, the whole video's up, right? Do women understand the red pill? Using their video. And fairly enough, I played 20 minutes, I played 20 minutes of the video, right? More than enough to actually get a nice bite-sized sample, right? And this chick gives me like a minute and 18 seconds. And really, I said about a couple, maybe 2 sentences at best. And that's context, right? And the 2 sentences were actually separated, like 5 seconds worth of me talking, separated by what, 4.5 minutes. And she says that's context. I said some things. I said, but did you play the video in context? She says I time-stamped it, 2 separate parts, 5 minutes, almost like 5 minutes apart. But I'm going to play hers, and then I'm going to play the 20 minutes of the clip that I actually took from the whole live stream. I very seldom take my stuff. I don't take my stuff down, because I say what I say. And if people have a problem with it, they had a problem with Sister George and Concrete Rose could have come over and actually addressed it. They could have pointed her to the video so they can comment on it, and then we could have a discussion. And I've disagreed with them to their face. I don't kiss their ass. They know I don't kiss their ass. And I've said stronger things to them than this, but it's okay. Anyhow, let me go ahead and play this to be fair. here. Keep listening. And these women are actually better than most. They're actually black male identified. Actually fairer than most. But just listen. Now, and she thinks black male identified is a slur. Okay, she thinks that's me downing them already. Right? They call themselves black male identified. I didn't come up with the term. Black male identified means that you lean toward black males. I would add that's actually a good thing. Okay, because the divestors and the other swirlers and the other the misandrists called them black male identified. In other words, you lean towards us. Now I think they're in the middle. And I actually have called them gynocrats. I call them the best of the bunch. I've actually called them gynocrats to their face. They are, but they're the best of the bunch. I said if you're going to listen to them, because they're in the middle, okay, they're in the middle, but they're still who they are. They're still black women. They're still who they are. I said, but if you need to go over there and sit and talk to them, I said they're fairer than most of them. In fact, I said they're probably the best out of the bunch. In fact, you've heard me say that. You just heard me say that. I said they're the best. They're some of the better ones, but they still have it in them, right? But that's the first spot, male identified, like I'm putting them down. Okay, that's why you don't let women in your space. And these are some of the best. Let's put it this way: these are some of the best. I'll say that these are some of the best women, black women that you'll find. Listen to what comes out of their mouths. Now, see, she skipped 4 minutes and 45 seconds, right?
4 minutes and 45 seconds later.
They don't, they, don't, they don't see. They don't understand. They're insufferable. Okay, they don't see. Understand? Now That's supposed to be in context, right? Does that seem like something in context to you? I'm just asking. Does that seem like it's in context? Now she repeated that like 4 or 5 times. They're insufferable. Okay. Understand? They're insufferable. Okay. Understand? They're insufferable. Okay. They don't get it. Understand? They're insufferable. Okay. They don't get it.
Now, one thing Queen ain't got to do is lie to kick it.
See? Lie to kick it. See? Yes, you do. That's called lying by omission. That's called lying by omission.
You was spoken. And here's the proof. Timestamps in the description. Queen ain't got to lie to kick it. Peace.
That's why I don't like black women in our space. That's why I don't like the purple pill. Obi and a whole bunch of other people have done the same shit. That same shit happened when the pearl thing happened. Okay, took 6 months to get off the shit. Same thing with the fucking table shit. Okay, that's why I don't like the purple pill space. The motherfuckers that say they don't believe in the table are sitting at the goddamn table singing kumbaya, singing kumbaya. And I try to support Sister George and Concrete Rose, but the thing is, people like that make it a snake pit. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty much done with it. Now she could have sent this to them, but she added me with this bullshit this morning. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is go back and play. Yeah, it is dirty macking. But thing is that's female. Okay, females dirty mac. That's just what they do. Now, let me go back, and I just clipped it. I just clipped the segment because I don't want to play it because it was out of beginning of a live stream, and so I had about 20 minutes, so I just clipped it. So we're gonna go through it. Okay. All right. Let me go full screen on this one. This is the breakdown, the woman's perspective. I didn't put the link in the chat or link in the description yet, but thing is, as always, if we use their stuff, go check them out. At least give them a like. At least give them a like on their video, okay? Um,
Employ logic. There should never be.
Let me go back this up a little bit. because what she's saying, a critique, I want to be important because what she's saying will chop it up.
Together as men and building together as men. It's always been, you know what it's been about.
What?
Let's get over here and talk about these bitches so everybody can see, you know, that there is some bad black bitches out here and that the men ain't always been wrong about these
Um,
hoes. But then when it comes down to actually putting in work and actually lobbying for shit that's going to change shit.
In other words, what do you think the black male uh, the black man political agenda is about, right? People, you know, and this is the thing that pisses me off. People think agendas and stuff, political agendas, actually get built overnight. It took 100 years for civil rights, 100 years, right? For union rights, man. Union rights in the United States, they fought 120 years for that shit. Okay, feminism started in 1804. It takes centuries and decades to get something done, right? It doesn't just start. Okay, MRAs have been fighting for amendments. Black men have been fighting for rights and amendments for years, for like 20 years, right? So an online entity as such as a black manosphere, which really has only been around if you really count it for like 13 years, if you really count it, if you really counted the iteration from what I've been at since 2015. Notice the title is the manosphere pro-black or just the anti-bitch. Okay, notice the title. Doesn't happen overnight. You have to build that shit up. It doesn't happen just because you snap a finger. Okay, and basically what women fought for, what black women fought for, they had to have the aid of white women. Okay, they didn't do it on their own. But continuing.
For y'all, a lot of times y'all don't do shit but sit around and wait for white men to get up on they shit, and y'all looking for them to do the work for y'all, and then y'all looking for black women to do the work for y'all. Y'all want black women to do the motherfucking rally, and then when black women say fuck, we ain't doing that shit, bitches ain't shit, bitches ain't.
How many black men during civil rights got hung, got disappeared, got shot, got bit? Okay, women have never led anything for black men. Okay, and as soon as they got civil rights, as soon as white women aided them, because trust and believe, anything that black women have, Miss Ann handed down to them. Miss Ann handed down gender rights. Black women have never fought for their rights. Okay, in mass, never fought for their rights in mass. Even BLM is fake. Okay, I don't see none of them BLM women going missing like the brothers did in St. Louis. So that's bullshit. It's bullshit. They're not even accurate. Continuing. That's feminist shit.
Ain't never gonna be shit. These bitches don't care about the black men. They don't never care about the black men. They want us to do. They want no, no, no. Y'all got to do it yourselves. You
Thank
got
you.
to.
Thank you. Thank you. You got to do it yourself. Exactly. You hear that? You hear that, black men? Coming out of a woman's mouth. And she's fairer than most, okay? What have we said? What have I told you from the very beginning, right? What have I told you from the very beginning? What has Doc told you? Dr. T told you? What has Dr. Gigi told you? They're not going to help you. They're not going to help you. They fight you over your children. They're not going to help you. They're there to keep their, and they're not say they're fairer than most, even though this bile is coming out of their mouths, right? That's why I said in context. Like I just said something about them and they didn't deserve it. Okay, they deserve for me to call them a few more things other than what was said. Okay, okay, and they would have been justified with what was coming out of their mouths. Self elevated. You're a step stool for them. I've been telling you that, but thing is, guess what? Y'all don't listen. Oh, if we just talk to them, talk to the sisters, get along with the sisters, be a better man, earn six figures, blah 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 blah. They'll learn to respect us. Okay, keep it up.
to do it yourself.
You
You got to
know,
get out and do the work. Women ain't gonna work for y'all. Not
See,
like
I,
women in your family will work for y'all.
in other words, white women, and I've said this, okay, and I told this to May. A Jewish woman, a white woman, a Latin woman, Asian woman will not allow you to abuse her boys. Will not allow you to actually undereducate her boys. Will not allow you to actually let her men and let her boys go to prison in the numbers that black women do. They will not try to undereducate a Jewish or Asian woman's son and see what happens. That's they'll unleash a tiger. Okay, they won't allow it. But black women at all levels, when I talk about just at lower levels, even the elite levels, do not care about their sons. Low level contempt and hatred of black men on display right here. Keep listening. And these women are actually better than most. They're actually black men identified. Actually fairer than most. See, and that's context. Okay. That's called context. If you're listening, Mrs. Queen Sunkissed, that's called context. What I'm doing is called context. That's the difference. Just listen. And these are some of the best. Let's put it this way. These are some of the best. I'll say that these are some of the best women, black women that you'll find. Listen to what comes out of their mouths.
you know, I have a few things. So from I think that you had some solid points. You have some solid points. I wanted to say though, from my understanding, I thought the Show Your Work campaign was also about men elevating. Like when I used to hear Steve Boogie talking about it, I thought it was also about men showing their work as it relates to getting in the gym. I've heard, men in the space challenging men, saying that men should be working if you're a single man, that you should be working no less than 60 hours.
That was Kevin. Okay, that was Kevin that said that. If you wanted to be a high value man, okay, he didn't say that for everybody. And that was Kevin Samuels that said that. Okay, you hated him too. Kevin Samuels said that. You hated him too. Did you like him? Did you support him? Did you use his content? Use his talking points? Okay, did you? You hated him too.
A week, that you should be elevating yourself and trying to build your bank account and things of that nature. Now, I can say that that was 2 movements ago in the space. I have not heard much about that.
And I say give them, like, if I use anybody's content, and this is just me, if I use anybody's content, the least I can do is encourage people to actually go like the damn video, okay? As payment for using their content. It's called being fair, Ray. Do you get that?
Since then, but what about the men who say that the manosphere is pro-man? That's why they push the passport bros movement so hard. What about the notion that that's why they're pushing the passport bros movement so hard, because they are
pushing pussy,
and
pushing
they're about
pussy,
the happiness.
Pushing pussy is the exact words for the passport bros. A lot of
see what I'm telling you. In other words, pushing pussy, as long as you pushing pussy for black women, is fine. Okay, for their own enrichment, for their own basically upliftment. Doing it for them is fine. Pushing pussy for somebody else that's not part of their group, what do you hear? See, listen to them.
them ain't going over there to seek out relationships. That shit takes a lot. That takes a lot to really uproot your life. And shout out to the brothers that really are doing it, all 5 of.
Why do they have to do it the way you do it? If they want to go over and trick and it makes them happy, let them go over and trick and make them happy. They don't have to do it by your rules. Okay, that's what I hate about brothers. Okay, white men, Latin men, Asian men do that for decades. For decades, nobody says shit. Black men go do it. For what, 5-10 years? People got a problem with it. Go ahead. Continuing.
Y'all, shout out to all 5 of y'all. Y'all really doing this shit. All 5 of y'all. They've been able to
see the low level contempt and hatred. You hear it. You hear me? You hear it? The denigration. You hear that?
Create a movement that's basically based on sex trafficking. Let's talk about
Oh,
what it really is.
Sex trafficking. See? All right.
Y'all ain't doing nothing but going over there to pay some other bitch to suck your dick.
So some other bitch, not this bitch, not the bitches here. Okay, bitches someplace else to suck your dick at 1/10 of the price, no less. But nobody says anything about Zion Williamson paying $62,000 a month for his chick. Nobody says that. Or Brittany Renner, or any one of the other chicks that get flown out. As long as you're tricking on them, they're cool with it. You take it outside someplace else, guess what? This is what you hear. See, see, see.
ah,
I get it. I'm not even mad at it. I'm not mad at
Yes,
it.
you are.
But y'all
Yes, you are mad at it. You brought it up. You keep bringing it up.
don't get to come back and be like, y'all these moral fucking creatures when y'all done left the fucking country and the fuck? No, no, no,
You see that
no.
they don't see, they don't understand. They're insufferable. Okay, they don't get it. They don't get it. But continuing.
Came in
okay.
on some
Now that's where the insufferable came from. Was I accurate? Or was I accurate, or was I putting them down? Was I putting them down, or was I accurate in context? Put a one if you thought. Put a one if you think it was actually accurate actually in context, or it was actually going overboard on these chicks. What do you think? Put a two if you think it went overboard. It was actually out of bounds. So in other words, I didn't do this out of nowhere. That's why I said in context. Had she played like the 2 or 3 minutes before I said that comment, or played the 4 minutes in between, you'd have known it. People would have agreed. But in her words, I was actually talking down on them because I disagreed. And in this context, guess what? The whole 4 or 5 minutes they were insufferable. Okay. Does it mean they're always insufferable? No. But if the 4 or 5 minutes that they were going through it, they're insufferable, right? It's called context. Called context. Okay. I'll play a few more minutes of it, and then I'll drop the link in case somebody has something to say about it, right? Has something negative to say about it. If you think I'm wrong, the thing is, I was accurate. That's why I call them insufferable. You hear all the stuff they said before that about the space and passport bros and stuff like that. Got the low level contempt about the space, and then about the passport bros, which is not that big a deal. It's not that many. One, it's not that many guys. Two, you know, they call it what they call it sex tourism, okay, which is unfair. That's insufferable to me. I'll play a few more minutes, but that's where it came from. So Mrs. Uh, Queen Sunkissed, but you went back and said, "Oh, BGS was talking about y'all. Oh, BGS was down in y'all. BGS was calling y'all names and shit like that, right? I heard about y'all in context."
bullshit this morning. It's the Hennessy
Listen,
from
clearly
last
you
night.
got me
It ain't even
defending
me.
Negroes. Mhm.
It ain't even me,
Let me
girl. It's the Hennessy from last night.
let me
Bullshit.
ask you this.
Blame it on alcohol. Right. Okay.
I don't disagree with you. I absolutely think that this is a space that Black men have come to simply trauma dump with no sight of men being healed. I don't see anything wrong with men congregating and talking about their trauma, but there is no no excuse me focus on men healing. And I think that that's where the danger is created. It is literally,
They always say that no thing about men healing, right? I get emails every day. I get comments every freaking day about how men got better, how they got out of this situation, how they got their degrees, how they went decided to go overseas and travel, how they did a whole bunch of stuff. Hear this all the time. Hear this all the time. But the whole space is transforming the whole goddamn world. But it's here. No men are healing. No men are changing. The trauma dumping, and basically they're getting dumped back into hopelessness because we don't talk like females. Anyhow, give it a couple of more minutes, and I'm gonna drop the link for a
Men
few
in the
minutes.
space focus on being essentially
See that?
uniting
At least
against
Mr.
the
Fantastic say, so y'all cool with domestic hoes being paid, just not the foreign ones.
against black women. And not only are they uniting against black women, they will allow anyone in. They will rally around anyone who has anything negative to say about black women, i.e. Pearl, i.e. any.
See, Pearl has never said anything negative about black women ever. Her is not race specific. But the thing is, they've always hated Pearl because she's white, not because of what she said, because she's white. Anyway, continuing.
Foreigner who has anything negative to say about black women. They'll invite you in, they'll elevate you, they'll even pedestalize you as long as you have something negative to also say about black women. And I think that it's apparent that that is the primary focus. And a lot of times they'll say that, well, we have every right. This is our space. You can't tell us, what to do with our space and this, that, and the other. And we're not trying to tell you what to do with your space. We're simply pointing out.
Yes, you are trying to tell us what to do with our space. What do you think you just did?
The facts. We're simply highlighting what it is that we don't see that there's any.
You don't see it. But why don't you get your ass over here? And if you really want to do it, basically get your ass over here and try to help instead of critique. Try to help for a change. You're not trying to help. In other words, you try hurry up, nigga, and heal, and come back over here. It's really what it is. It's really what it is. Anyhow, continuing.
We don't see that. We don't view this space as a space for elevating men. We don't view this space.
Yes, we don't view this space as a space for elevating men. In other words, basically what they're saying is we don't. You're not talking female language. So if you're not talking like females, how females actually elevated, then you're not healing males because males supposed to heal like females do, like children do. Okay. Most of talk about business and shit like that. Most guys over here, man, the average wage, average earnings. I don't know about every sector, but my sector of YouTube, man, my sector of the ministry, the average wage is 80 grand a year. 80 grand a year. There's a whole bunch of cats, man. They're in this space that are my subs that make well over six figures. Okay, well over six figures. They're not here for that.
As
You don't view it because you're a woman. You're a woman. You can't. What did I say? They have they don't have the capacity to actually understand the red pill. Okay, just like Gigi was telling me, because it's not in them. Okay, because it's not in them. Continuing.
a space for catapulting men, a space for building, a space for coming together, and even elevation of the space. Wasn't it a white man who trademarked the space? They're literally leaving money and leaving dollars on the table as it relates to the space, because there are other people who are able to capitalize off of this space when some of the
Actually, the space was trademarked by a black man. In fact, it was Kendra D's boyfriend. Okay, Kendra D's boyfriend actually trademarked the space. Actually, a black man. But continuing.
the top creators in this space are not, because that's not what they're about. They're literally so hell bent on focusing on re-traumatizing men in the space who have had some sort of negative experience with Black women, that they're not concerned about building up the space or building up men in the space, which I find to be kind of odd.
It's like I don't necessarily think that that's what the space started out as. I really think it was a space that started off building. But
Anyhow, I'll let it finish. Anyway,
when
let's
it
continue.
comes down to your brother doing better than you or making more money than you, um, getting more subs, getting more whatever's than you, then it becomes like, oh, this nigga doing this, so I gotta throw some salt on this nigga. That nigga doing that, so I gotta go throw some salt
They've been doing that, and you know, Black men have been doing that for eons. Okay, it comes with the territory,
on him. I and
and they rock with the people that throw salt. They rock with the men that's anyhow. Continuing, we'll do a little bit more, and we're actually going to close it out. I probably have to do a whole reaction to this.
and it really comes down to the space started out as one thing, but what it is has evolved to is something totally different. And what it has evolved to is a, dare I say it, a bitch fest. I
Oh,
want to come over here and complain about these hoes, and I want somebody to listen. Now that being said, I think everybody has a right to do whatever fucking content they want to do. If you have a right to trauma bond, but then when it actually comes down,
The thing is that trauma bonding shit by people that are non-psychologists, okay, non-psychologists. In fact, we had Maggie, had a 20-year psychologist, come up in this space, right, studying this space. She said nothing about trauma bonding, zero. She actually liked it because she said we're actually doing shadow work, and she's not the only one. But the thing is, if we talk about our problems as trauma bonding instead of problem solving,
to building men and
right?
making sure that men are good and men are straight, and you're building businesses, you're building communities, wherever the fuck you do it.
In other words, businesses and communities to actually enrich and help whom? Help whom? Help whom? Resources, right? Money, resources to help whom?
That shit ain't happening like it's supposed to be over here. It's
yeah.
not. It's not. And then y'all
How do they know? How do they know? They're telling you what to do with your space. They're critiquing it from a woman's standpoint. Low level contempt and hatred. Y'all still ain't shit. Just go ahead and say it.
could talk about the 5 channels that do really try to help me. Y'all could talk about them. Salute.
That's what they
Salute
do.
to them. It ain't no hate. But y'all ain't gonna
Literally.
piss on our head and tell us it's raining when it really comes down to what the space is about versus what it's actually doing. And the space is just anti-bitch. It's not a pro-male space. It's
Yeah.
an anti-bitch space.
Let's
It's
keep
not
it a buck.
pro-male space.
Let's keep it a buck.
All
Literally.
right. All right. That's enough of that. I give people a few. The detractors that want to come up and respond, I give them a few minutes. But I wanted to clear that up real quick in context, because she should have done her job in context. That's why I hate people at me. Hate people fucking at me. Go ahead and take this down. But I hate people at me, man, because I was getting ready to take my second nap and go back to sleep, and I got that. I got that bullshit. Anyway, and that was months ago. Okay, that was like a couple of months ago, and I get this response, out of context, supposed to be proof that I was downing them, proof that I was talking about them. No, I was responding to their video in context. Was I throwing slurs at them? Was I calling them bitches and hoes and all kind of other kind of shit? No. But that's what happens when you deal in the snake pit. What's up, sir?
Hey, how's it going?
What you doing up, man?
Ooh, hang
You?
on just a second.
All right.
Okay.
All right. You at work?
No, no, I actually just got up. I'm on my way in there in a couple of hours though.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've had a problem with them for a long time for
Hmm.
doing this kind of underhanded stuff, saying that they're aligned with the space, but at the same time shooting shots. If you looked at their last three shows, it's even been worse. They're promoting this Queen Sella chick, and
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
if we can't have Kevin Samuels, why can't the women have Queen Sella? Man, this chick is just basically acting like a man, emulating a pimp,
Yeah.
trying to give pimp talk.
I I
Fake.
told I
Go ahead,
told
go
you
ahead.
I told them that when they first had her on and I first heard about her. I said it's nothing but pimp talk. She's pimping women. What do you think she's trying to do? And they
Exactly.
did well, they made their money off her because they done like 10 shows on her. So
Yeah, I mean she's made her rounds through TikTok,
yeah.
and there's another guy over there that I follow. Man, he has been just basically dismantling this woman, man, because she is a fraud. She is nothing like Kevin Samuels. She cannot be even equated to what Kevin was trying to do for the community. Uh, and this woman is basically just preaching man hatred. Separate yourself from men.
Yeah.
A woman doesn't need a man, and using fake
Oh,
biology
yeah.
to try to
It's Hotep mixed with pimp talk, and that's what. Hey,
exactly.
May the link is in the chat. Okay, the link's in the chat.
Charleston White tore her new ass.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
she cannot hold up to scrutiny, to
yeah,
any kind of scrutiny. While she talking by herself, oh, she's fine.
yeah,
But anytime she has to back it up with any kind of real data or any kind of science or anything, she can't
yeah,
do it.
yeah. They found that out real quick. Okay, when she was rolling, talking her shit, and they asked her a couple of questions, she got upset, and things went off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I get tired of?
what's
I
that?
get tired of when men talk about their issues with other men.
Yeah,
We're bitching,
Yeah.
but females could do it and it's fine.
yeah, it's
But
fine.
yet men have an accelerated rate of suicides.
Yeah,
They have accelerated rate of hypertension and stress,
Mhm.
but they can't talk. That you know how many emails I've gotten for guys who were gonna hurt themselves or to somebody else or quit school
yep,
and
yep,
Yeah.
said thank you for putting the fire in my ass and putting a boot up in there as well.
yep,
But
yep.
yet here it is, right? And you know what's shameful about them too?
What?
One of them has a son.
Hmm.
Yeah.
One of them has a goddamn son.
Oh yeah,
And both of them
she
have husbands.
and she was complaining about she was getting tired of taking the football practice. You know, she thought he
So
was
Right.
so
quit.
here's the thing about black women that you just gotta notice.
Hmm.
They think they're smarter than everybody, but they go out of their way to prove how ignorant they are to any subject matter because they feel instead of research.
Yeah.
They're lazy.
We,
They don't even want to take care of their own goddamn children. It's a pain for you to take care of your child.
It's a pain
You
for
laid up
be
and you
nice.
gave birth. They came out of your coach. You took almost an entire year to develop that child in your womb.
yeah.
And when it comes out, you're too lazy to raise them. I'm tired of taking.
It is because because it's an independent child once it comes out of the womb because they can't carry it around in their body like they did for their 10 months. It's different.
And here's the hypocrisy of it all, right?
Hmm.
If it wasn't for you, nobody would know their show existed.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And 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 it's
I was going to
crazy.
ask you that, BGS. Do you regret giving them women a platform, or what was it a necessary evil for us to see that side of the
It, it,
best as you
it-
claim?
there's, there's a whole thing about the table, right? And guess what? A whole bunch of my subs still run over there every day, every time they have a show, super chat and all the kind of stuff, right? But thing is, they're gonna do it anyway. I said, if you're gonna do it, at least they come from my women's channel. At least they'll give you a fair shot. Okay, if you want to hear what the other side has to say, I said there's still gynocrats. There's still it's still part of the gynocracy. But the thing is, at least they're better than most. Even the video, I said they're better than most. They're better than, I would say, 90% of the black chicks out there. They're better than, right? But they're still who they are.
What
And
percentage
here's the
of better would you give them?
I would say they're better than, I would say they're better than 80% of the chicks out there.
No. What percentage of better are they? Like, are they like they're like what?
I would say compared to of a scale of 0 to 10, zero being like a stomp down divester.
Yeah.
Okay, I would give them about an 8
Okay.
compared to them. Man, oh, there's
Out
a
of
whole lot
10.
worse.
Yeah.
Out of 10, yeah. Because there's a whole lot worse out there.
Yeah, and they swing. They're not consistent. I mean, sometimes they're 100% for us, and then they'll
Yeah.
swing right back over. And
They swing
sometimes
back
it's in the
over.
same show.
Yeah, yes, because they are who they are, and I've actually caught them. People, the thing is that and like this chick, man, Mrs. Queen, was saying that I downed them. Man, I have checked them. I checked them on my show. Okay, I've checked them on their show. I've done shorts about them. It's not the first time, and that I showed you the whole clip. Was that egregious about what I said about them?
Nope.
Did I really go in on them?
Nope.
Did I call
I
them
think
names and really down them? It was pretty. It's pretty tame. Okay.
I think they were a lot nicer than I would be.
And we were on that show. We were worse on them than you were.
I know.
I would be a lot more harsh towards them and point out a lot of stuff that they said. I said, you had staunch down man-hating gynocrats on your show who complained you did not want.
No, May. Now you had another. But basically, you're over here because I have detracted. Don't tell you over here listening quietly. Bring your ass up here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I got words for you. Because one thing you got to know about a Gemini, okay? And I'm gonna say this. Anybody's Gemini know what the fuck I'm talking about. We have a good side and we got an evil side, okay? You try to keep the good side good, and most of the time you get the good side, right? Okay, until you hit that switch. Y'all motherfuckers done hit that goddamn switch. Okay, you think I was bad before, because Charles can tell you, man, I hold back. There's a whole lot of stuff I could say, a whole lot of stuff that I could actually prove and go in on women. I don't. I'm mild. Charles can tell I'm mild. Okay.
Yep.
But guess what? Guess what? You bitches you guys gonna get the evil motherfucking side, right? I'm tired of this. That shit was uncalled for.
You know what I say? I say let them have what they ask for. If you want to eat, if you want the God of War to come out, let him out. Sometimes he's got to eat. And that's how motherfuckers got to learn. Like, you gonna sit here and talk about men going their own way, but not one of you bitches complained about women who pay for. Do you know how many years I've known women to get men in Africa and Jamaica to get their passport so they could say they're married and to get a baby?
Yep.
Do you know how fucked up you got to be to pay $30,000 to this dude and citizenship and give him a child because you're so insufferable no man will fuck with you in your own country?
Yeah.
See, it's the reverse here. We're leaving because everybody loves us. You're leaving because everybody hates you.
Trust and believe, man. I get this stuff every day. Guess what? My Black Pill Gnostic channel is getting ready to get full. Getting ready to get full. Okay? It's gonna get full. Because trust and believe, man. Now I'm getting ready to go on a fucking jihad in a minute. Yeah, go ahead, doctor. Go ahead,
Yeah, go, doc.
Hey, let's go. So thanks again for.
And now, Doc, you're a PhD, man. I take the word of PhDs like guys. You would think I was unfair with them?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, okay. So if you think of it from how they are usually talked to,
it's a cultural
versus
perspective.
yeah, from the way you talked to them
Yeah,
or you talked about their thing,
yeah.
you could see how someone could be like, well, man, that was kind of direct. But as far as actually being disrespectful or calling them names and stuff, you definitely didn't do that. And then the other thing I was going to say is, well, there's a couple more things. Second thing is thanks again for showing up on the platform
Oh no,
earlier
no, oh no.
today.
That's my
Appreciate
pleasure.
that.
That's my pleasure.
I
Okay.
appreciate it too. This is my first time being on the live with you.
Yeah. And then the last thing I was going to say is there just seems to be this high incidence of women coming uh, in the sort of black YouTube space, through the sort of window of the sort of pro black thing,
Hmm.
and then coming over to the manosphere, the black manosphere, for a period of time, and then transitioning into something else.
Yeah.
And that's obviously what they're doing. They transitioned into something else. I mean, I interviewed Sister George on my on Conversations with Dr. Thunder. It was a couple years ago at this point,
Uh huh.
and she's changed a lot since our interview because she was talking all of that pro man stuff. She was talking about her, you know, uh, even taking some accountability for some of her decisions and all this kind of stuff on my show. And it
Yeah.
seems like, at least based on what happens on that show, that much of that has sort of changed.
Mm.
Now, that being said, she's always in my chat on well, not always, but frequently, especially for the last 3 weeks. She showed up from my Rolling Thunder
Okay.
stuff, and it's, I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not going in hard on women or something like that on my show. I'm critical, but my stuff tends to be, how my stuff is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty. It's pretty intentionally not. Uh,
Offensive. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I could see how that would be palatable. But my point is, though, and it's not really about them. It's more about just this high incidence of women coming in as sort of through the pro black window and
Yeah.
then just going way out, with the stuff and just turning into a aggressively anti-black male. And it's like it almost it's like the missing links in the theory of evolution, right? There's like some leaps in there that have to take place for it to work. And that's what it seems like. It's like, dude, where did this come from? Because it does not seem related at all to what was being said prior. Wait
Yeah.
a minute, weren't you just saying that,
Yeah.
we need to deal with black boys, we need to
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z? Now you saying these dusty ninjas need to get a job,
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, what happened? And I don't know why May is even still around. Okay, because what is it? A month ago now? 2 months ago?
Yeah. She said she's going.
Oh,
She was leaving. Yeah.
yeah, she's leaving. She's out. But when she appeared on my platform, that was supposed to be her last time.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I'm on my way out. I'm not coming back. I realized that it was a mistake being here, X, Y, and Z. But then she keeps coming back, and I just wonder if we should just start blocking her. Don't even let her come up on panels and stuff, because she's not going to say anything different. She says exactly the same thing every time. She doesn't actually listen. She's not this quote unquote great communicator that she claims to be.
No, never. No, not at all.
Yeah, and the stuff that she says is not even her own thoughts. I mean,
No.
she's talking SBE and on all this kind of stuff. And it's like, dude, you just basically grab on whatever talking points that you think are against whatever it is that you think that we're saying.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's my piece.
All right.
I have a
That's
quick
good.
question.
Go ahead.
So, given everything that I've listened to from you and the rest of the manosphere and everything, is it foreign to say that we were all forced together, but when they were shown the light of freedom, they took off running?
I'm talking about talking about the
Western
women.
culture, women in general.
Oh, okay. Western culture. It's a long process for Western culture. Really, the separation happened between men and women. If you talk about men and women, period, is that what you talk about? Or you talking about black men and women?
No, no, I'm talking about Western culture in general. Like
Oh, oh,
we were the first experiment, but they latched onto it and saw
no,
the
no,
benefit per
no, no, no,
se
no,
against every
no,
man.
no. The Industrial Revolution. The Industrial
Yes, sir.
Revolution to happen. That's what it said. In fact, oh man, I can't remember the video. Um, the Industrial Revolution, and then 1804 when the women started to divorce their husbands and leave the house because they had jobs and shit like that. Started in like 1804, and then with the
And then it morphed to the
with
world wars.
the 10 years doctrine, and then and then 1839 with the custody of the infants with Caroline Norton. That's when feminism really got its foothold. But the thing is, it started with the Industrial Revolution because it took women and children out of the homes, and that's what caused the split. And then it's developing since then. So
I can
it's the
understand
long
that.
it's a long process.
Well, yeah, they had to groom them into it.
No, no, it's not groomed them into it. It's not groomed. It's basically it's the environment changing the culture slowly over time, right? That's what happened. That's really what happened. If in a nutshell, and this is our adaptation to it, right? Because now that the same kind of post-industrial environment is spread all over the world, you see exact the same thing with the in Korea. Um, the marriage rate was like 98%, and I think they were having 6 children per woman in 1960, and now in 2020 they have, I think 2020 2021 they have less than 1 child per woman, and basically the marriage rate is down below 40%. Okay.
So can we comfortably say that it was okay for them to have their grievances and that we moved in that direction? And now that we have our grievances,
Yeah.
they don't want to let up.
Okay, in fact, Mr. Z has said this. What women really want is patriarchy according to feminist specifications. That's what they really want. They want to control. In fact, I think they're trying to. I think they're trying to make a matriarchy. I was thinking about a science fiction story
Well, we can
about
go to the bonobo apes, how they created a matriarchy there, and it
not the
kind of went crazy.
no, no, the matriarchy or matriarchy, and this is something this way far afield of where we're actually going, right? Matriarchy or the clan is the natural state of people, right? Natural state of human beings, right? Okay. The thing is, and this is something I was thinking of, and since Doc is here, Gigi is here, he can actually say whether I'm right or wrong because he's the expert, right? Um, what I was thinking about, right now, I was reading Jung and this kind of stuff. What I was thinking about is that uh, uh, the matriarchy or a clan works in a very small groups, right? Okay, is because women by nature depend on connection. Say like rules, right? Say like uh a law. Okay, well, say like a rule. Say I go steal from the vendor down the street, right? My mama's gonna beat my ass because she know Mrs. Smith, okay? Because there's a personal connection, okay? Whereas because women are feeling based, connection based, right? Men are orders and rules, okay? Men make laws, women don't, okay? So now a man would say you shouldn't steal because it's wrong to do so because it's against the rules of our society to do so, right? That works when you get past a certain amount of people. So matriarchies by nature are very small, okay? And then it will morph into something by putting men in charge because men make rules, okay? And the bigger the society gets, then it starts to morph into what we call a patriarchy. That's my estimation, but that's just me. That's my. I haven't really thought about it enough. I'd had to get with somebody like Gigi and Dr. Neil and Dr. Thunder and actually have them look over it and see what they think. But thing is, I was reading Jung. I was actually doing reading a section on Jung, and he was talking about the difference between an animus, a male brain, and a female brain, right? A male brain thinks about more about orders and rules and stuff like that. Females deal in personal connections, which you can do in a small environment, right? Like the black matriarchy, the black matriarchy in the United States, right? Got along fine because you had its extended family, its extended clan, and basically it kept the children and people in check because you knew the store owner down the street. You can't, if you steal an apple out of Miss May's bin and bring it home, where'd you get the apple from? Well, I took it from Miss May. Now you take it back because I know Miss May. Okay, it
Yes,
doesn't
sir.
work.
No, no, I
Doesn't work
understand
that way.
exactly where you're going, and this is something. Okay, let me give a little context. I'm a
Well,
single
you got
father. I raised my daughter.
you got 1 minute because this is not what it's about. You got a minute. Now finish.
No, no, I got you. I'm gonna close it out real quick. So this is, I'm a single father. I raised my daughter,
Mhm.
and what I've gained out of this is the alphabet is the best friend of a man because the letter N comes with the letter O. Even the alphabet tells you to say no.
Right.
You have to mean it. But what I've learned is that men play by the rules and women are taught to cheat the rules. Am I safe to say?
They don't believe in the rules because their mind is not rule based.
Well, no, men run by the rules and women are taught to cry, kind of bitch and complain to cheat the rules.
They cheat the rules because they don't believe in them. They don't believe the rules should exist in their biology. They have to learn that. They have to morph
Their
into that.
biological imperative. No, I
Imperative. Yeah,
understand
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's why I was trying to explain it. Yeah. So, but anyway, okay. Yeah, that is true. And then I probably will read that section of Jung. Actually highlight it since I actually brought it up. That's actually supposed to be a Patreon thing, but I would actually highlight it because I just did it on my Patreon, video, and I actually noticed that. I said, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Okay, and it makes sense about what the difference between a matriarchy and a patriarchy. And I think that's how come as there are more people, you see more patriarchies than you see matriarchies because men are rule based and women are connection based. And then he said exactly that in the piece. But anyway,
Thank you. I'm a 2+ year listener, but a first time liver. You caught me at the right time. I work graveyard, so
oh,
I
okay,
appreciate you at least letting me on.
okay, no problem, no problem. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Who's next? Because this is just an impromptu, man. It really kind of. I'm like Gigi. I'm a Gemini. Gigi knows how Geminis are, right? You flip that switch, you get the bad Gemini. It's gonna come out. Okay.
Boy, you flip the switch, but they keep flipping this. They keep trying to hit us, boy.
Yeah, I keep trying. I keep trying because I know. Well, you're a Gemini. You know us, man. You go once you get the bad Gemini, it's hard to put him back in the box. He don't
Yeah,
want to go back in the closet. Okay.
right.
Hey,
So
let me just
Gemini's are
say,
Pandora, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
hey, everybody, I'm gonna drop down. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me up,
Oh,
BGS.
thanks, Doc.
What's happening, Green Gorilla?
What's going on, Dr. Thunder? How are you, man?
I'm all right. See
And
y'all later.
we
Take care, Doc.
got to talk about that free will stuff though one day, Doc.
Oh, 100%. I see you in here too, Charles. Good to have you on the platform this past week too. Thanks.
All
Peace.
right, I'll jump in. Who's next?
Yeah,
Hey,
look,
Gigi.
I'm gonna come in and say what I gotta say. Then I'm gonna burn out.
Okay.
So look, I don't have a problem with being in dialogue with women,
Yeah.
but if there's not going to be earnest, authentic dialogue, then what's the point in it? If you disagree principally, why are you even hovering around the space?
Yeah.
That's what I don't get. Like I don't understand. Like if you disagree with me fundamentally, there's an
Yeah.
impasse. What's the point of you being here? We fundamentally disagree. There's no need to even communicate at that point.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so in my viewpoint, a lot of people like to push buttons in this space. And they like to, I guess, it's a source of entertainment to, be a part of a community in which you could create, discontent, all kinds of enmity and strife. I mean, some
Yeah.
people get off on that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then maybe some of these opinions that these people have, aren't really centered around our humanity, but their own.
Yeah.
Or their
Yeah.
own ideas about what our humanity ought to consist in. Like, for instance, if a woman just basically says, you bitching like a woman. In other words, she's like, nigga, I don't give a fuck about what you're feeling psychologically, emotively. I don't care. What I do care about is that you do shit for me. That
Right.
you be in a state where you can produce and provide and do things for me. Okay?
Yeah.
I just, I was with a white woman today, man, and we were having a conversation, man, for at least about 2 hours. No, seriously, man. I mean, I'm not dating her or anything. She's just like a colleague, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we were in conversation about a whole host of issues. And, she's a feminist, no secret. And, she knows my position on it. And I'm like, man, to be quite honest, I'm more of a feminist than most of these chicks out here. Most women. And, I'm not going to bite my tongue. I don't bite my tongue for anybody. But the whole point is, I don't like boss bitch feminism. I don't like boss bitch, like the Ebony K. Williams type of attitude, the high sedity, upper middle class. I'm a black boss bitch, and I need a man making as much as I make, and I don't like that shit because it puts the onus on men for points that are like it doesn't even matter anymore. Bitch, if you making 100,000 plus, what the fuck you need a nigga to provide for you for, or to even like even have the attitude that you need a nigga making as much or more than you? Give up the spot then. Give up the spot to a fucking man.
Yeah.
No, he's speaking on instant gratification versus delayed gratification. That's a very good lesson to teach to a lot of people.
But at the end of the day, like for what I understand, the Miss Sunkissed chick, she basically like said that she got rid of my motherfucking, she unsubscribed to me because I wasn't in agreement with a 14-year-old boy in Chicago killing another man to protect his mama.
Right.
Now, my viewpoint on it is the boy should never have been in possession of a firearm to begin with. And he never should have been called on by his mother to handle some motherfucking business inside of a fucking, to me, that's like a liquor store in Chicago, going to the sandwich shop.
Yeah.
Like
and a real lady would have stood down to danger. A real lady would have stood down to danger.
No, she'd have walked out.
No, you're saying the same thing. A real woman would have stood down to danger. She'd have just left it alone. You know what? Look, y'all get my order ready. I'm gonna go sit in my car.
All right.
Man, if it would have been me,
finish.
If it would have been me, I'd have got the fuck up out of there my goddamn self. You want to talk like if a nigga told me, if you say one more thing, I'd have been like, go ahead, man. You can have all this sandwich shop yours, dog. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no need for me to sit there and prove a point. And then it's like one of the things you got to understand about war is if you're going to go to war, it's got to be the last resort.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now when you talk about holding people's lives in the balance, man, I'm not going to call on my fucking, like say, for example, I know my daughter got a gun in the car.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call my daughter to go to the car and come out of that motherfucker with a gun because some nigga tripping in the liquor store.
Yeah.
Right. Agreed.
That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, man, because women it don't take a motherfucking a strong man to pull the trigger. It take about how many pounds of pressure?
5 or 8. That's it.
You understand what I'm saying?
5 to 7.
So at the end of the day, if it's me, you got to look at the bigger picture, man. It ain't always about trying to demonstrate, like you can't talk to me this way, you can't be this way or be that way. It's about having prudence and wisdom. That wasn't a wise move on that lady. It wasn't a wise move on the man part, but it definitely wasn't a wise move on her part either. Get the fuck out of there. Stop trying to boot up and act bad and fucking ignorant with these niggas out here. It ain't your place to do that shit. And then don't call your 15. Ain't no way in hell if I got a son who's 14, 13, 12 years old, I'm gonna have this nigga waiting in the car with the gat like he's some sort of, like I'm in the motherfucking bank robbing the bitch and he the getaway driver. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna do some shit like that. So my view, and then there are women everywhere touting this motherfucking boy as some sort of hero. And I'm like, man, you done fucked the man. I don't know what you know about hurting people, but hurting people causes psychological damage to the person who hurting somebody else.
Yeah.
That's why guys go to war, they come back and they're fucked up in their heads, man. They got psychological damage because your disposition naturally is not to harm and to hurt people.
Yeah, but that's a typical.
Hey, don't talk about me like that, DG. Damn.
That's a typical. That's typical in a gynocracy, though. In a matriarchy, that's very typical for a son or a brother or something like that to actually do what he just did.
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about: biological imperatives. Men and women are totally different. And go ahead, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm gonna tell you this because I'm gonna redo that part because I even did a show when I talked about the principles of protection.
Yeah.
And thank you, BGS, for sharing it because hopefully you looked at the principles because I think they're very sound. A lot of these women will not submit to the authority of their sons. Do you
No.
know? I just got off my phone with the mother, and my mother, 64 years old,
Hmm.
and she's arguing with her neighbor. I'm like, Ma, don't say nothing to that motherfucker. All it is a bunch of drama. You too damn old for that shit. Okay? You're somebody's grandmother. Fuck
Never,
that
never,
bitch.
never too old for drama.
Never too old for that
Love
shit.
that
But
shit.
yet, you know what I do when people don't like me? I close my damn door. Now, if you come into that motherfucker, you got all kinds of hell to catch. But
Correct.
the problem with it is that I have a let live attitude until you do something that needs to be checked. It's like even my neighbor, she has an attitude about shit. I don't give a fuck what she talks about because she has such a nasty spirit. Somebody flattened her tires. Damn sure wasn't me. I don't even want to even waste the time even thinking about it. But I don't go around trying to take advantage of situations and sons. That's really fucked up. And I talked about that. What if somebody else was in the car with the guy she was arguing with? You just put your son in danger, in
And
more danger.
and
Yeah.
Charles, there's something else that nobody else has talked about either is penetration. What if that shit would
Hmm.
have went through the wall and killed somebody
Yeah,
else?
yeah. The
You
over
know?
penetration of those rounds, and there are certain times when people don't even know there's a difference between practice rounds, which is the ball point, and the hollow point, which stops over penetration, at least supposed to.
Mhm.
Then on top of that, you're in the place where all these people came to this dude's funeral. You don't know what type of affiliation that he has,
Right.
and somebody looking for payback. But yet, this is the stupidity of a lot of modern mothers. You would keep your son living in that town. Hell, you might have to leave the state to make sure your boy can make it to 18 because
Well,
somebody's going to try to get their pound of flesh.
but
Yeah.
my whole issue, like, first of all, I don't agree with everybody, like in the space, and just because I'm in disagreement with you doesn't mean that I'm gonna unsubscribe to you or something, and then like, oh, well, I don't like what you said about this, so I'm gonna just unsubscribe to you because I don't like that viewpoint. Like, to me, that's you're demanding ideological purity and fidelity. Like,
Mhm.
that should never occur in a
Mhm.
community. It doesn't happen in a family. It doesn't happen in a community. It doesn't happen in a polity. Okay,
Mhm.
you can't have ideological conformity all across the board. You got to leave some
Because
latitude.
hierarchies are real. You're right.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, like, all I can say is this place, man, it's a weird space because I mean, some women here are here, I think, to listen and to actually, kind of understand where men are coming from. But a lot
Hmm.
of people are here, man, just because they like fucking confusion and they like drama, man. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
But
saying? They could
BG,
give a fuck
I mean,
less. They could care less about what niggas is going through. They could give a fuck less. What they
exactly.
care about, and maybe they care because they got sons, okay? Or maybe they don't have a problem with seeing boys put their lives on the line for them, or to act like they, son husbands or some shit, precisely because they got their sons doing the same shit.
Hmm.
That your son is not your little man, man. Your son is your progeny who one day you should hope, like to become a full-fledged man who understands the game of life and understands
Hmm.
the treachery associated with both men and women. Now
Yes,
you
sir.
can teach them about women. You can teach women can teach men about the treachery, their sons about the treachery of women and the
Mhm.
pitfalls and the games that chicks play. But women ain't doing that shit for their sons in the black
Nope.
community, man.
Nope.
Can I get the next one? No, because you're wrong, because I'm a black man myself. And as I've grown older, there's certain things that my mother told me as I was growing up. And now that I'm a grown man, I was like, oh shit, she broke woman code to tell me you don't do this type of shit. Yeah, you fucking hey, don't do that. So some of them do, but it's very rare. I'll
It's
say
rare.
that much.
It is
Okay,
rare.
and that's the
And
point, man.
that's my point.
I'm speaking in generalities, man. Women are
Mhm.
not sitting their sons down and saying, "Look, you're old enough to fuck now. Here's what you got to deal with when it comes to fucking with these chicks out here."
Right.
Like,
You're right.
they give their sons to talk about the police, but they don't give sons to talk about these hoes out here.
Nope.
Okay, and it's some hoes out here on some treacherous, money grubbing, exploitative, using and abusive type of shit. Okay.
Thank you.
And men need to, if you give a fuck about your sons, you would tell them. Don't think that they just supposed to figure this shit out. How the fuck are they supposed to figure it out? But maybe a lot of chicks like it that way. I don't know.
They said that they don't like men that know their worth.
No, and that's
Okay,
why.
so can I get this one in? Hey, so BGS, I think you would agree with this. It takes a hoe to teach her son about hoes. A woman that's not a hoe can't teach her son
Oh
about
no,
those
No, I don't think
oh
women
no,
out
no,
there because she
no,
doesn't know.
no. Good women
Go
know
ahead,
hoes.
go ahead.
Good women know hoes.
Yes, they do.
They're friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep.
So it takes a woman that's a hoe. Like I said, I got a mom that's out there, 2 kids, 2 different men, and okay, I grew up, but you also got with a man that had 3 kids out
Um,
there in the
I,
streets. I could care less, but
I'm,
no, I'm saying it takes them to tell
no,
us.
no.
Good
Good
women.
women know hoes because
Yeah,
they had
and
to they had to decide not to be one. They
yeah,
know.
good women been teaching boys and folks about hoes for the longest,
For
man.
the longest.
It's only just recently changed, you
Yeah,
know. And I wanted to get in on Gigi's last couple of shows, and
go ahead.
like when he was just talking about
Mhm.
how a lot of these guys are just wanting to get back at these women. And it's just like he says, if you're gonna make a move and you're gonna do something, you know to what end? And he was trying to speak sense into these people to tell them that, hey, if you make this decision, just know that there's going to be collateral damage.
Mhm.
But these niggas were so locked in that they just want to hurt these hoes so bad
Mhm.
that they will cut their own they will slash their cheeks to cut these hoes. It's just it just doesn't make any sense, man. And I hear the same thing in some of this rhetoric from these women too, man. It's
Mhm.
just like they just want to hurt us, man. And it's like they will not. And I was listening to this female psychologist. She said it's so hard for some of these women to acknowledge that the type of no good women that are out here exist because they want to give
They
them some leeway in
They're
some way.
allowed to.
And
They're
if
they
they
allowed
want
do
to
to.
that,
they want to reserve the right to act the same way.
right. And then they say, well, and if I feel this way, then I must be bad too. So then they lump all themselves into the same fucking ball of wax and they will protect these no good holes, even though they're not even on that same track.
And let them die on their own sword, as I always say.
Mhm.
Just literally, just leave them alone. Do not help them. Do not engage. Smile, nod, walk away. I'm dead ass serious. I have like no
That's
feelings
the
about the
best thing
shit.
you could do.
That's. I mean, I even do that to certain family members, like because I tell people, here's the solution, whether you want to hear it or not. The reason that I'm giving you a solution is because I care. Now it's on you to do it. Now I'm going to look at your actions, and if you're not executing based on your complaints, you're not serious, which means I would be crazy to waste my time trying to help you when you don't want to help yourself. So I'm
Right.
gonna
Correct.
go about my
This is what I'll
business.
say. Okay, so this is what I'll say, and I'm gonna have to work with BGS on this. I
Mhm.
mean, because after all, BGS is a Gnostic. Okay, so let me just say this: in my conversation with this white woman today, okay,
Mhm. Yeah.
one of the things we were talking about relationships, right? Because she's
Mhm.
married and she's going to a relationship counselor today,
Yeah.
because she said, her and her husband, they've been together for like 20 plus years, but like everybody has issues, okay, and so they work to resolve their issues
Right.
and not operate in terms of like the limbic brain system,
Right.
okay, because that's what most like black people, what we do is we operate by the limbic brain system, okay,
Yeah.
which is what the ancient wisdom cautions against. It tells you there are multiple systems in your body,
Mhm.
and the most reptilian, the most the animalistic is the limbic, like the fucking Abdullah, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
The part that's connected to your serpent,
Reactive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the reptile brain. Yeah.
Yep.
and so one can argue, okay, moving from that to the logical, the cerebral portion, the
Mhm.
prefrontal cortex, because
Mhm.
human beings have that evolved over reptiles and it's more developed in us than other mammals, okay?
Right.
But the ancients even understood that reason by itself, and this is the era of the Greeks, they think that you can reason your way and use logic and get out of everything. Reason is great, okay? But even like I like the Greeks like Aristotle more so than I like Plato, because Plato thought that you could just think your way out of anything.
No.
Aristotle understood you got to practice your way out of things. You got to use mindfulness. You got to meditate. You got to use all of the tools at your disposal. You got to deep breathing techniques, visualization and mindfulness techniques to form new habits.
Yeah.
But we don't even practice that shit. It's just like a constant serpent-like reaction to every stimulus that we encounter ourselves with. And black men are the same fucking way. I hate to say that. I'm not, because we react to each other through anger, as opposed to, slander. But although in this space, there's some bitch ass niggas that love to do slanderous shit. But I mean, but the whole point is we operate under that system as well. So the way to overcome it is really actually through the Gnosticism.
Yeah.
But we don't fucking practice it. This is like a constant series of reactions and like negative stimuli, constantly reacting, never trying to find a way to say, okay, but there are some guys who subscribe to Stoicism. So to some degree, I could say, hey, there's some guys trying to overcome it. But man, I don't have a problem with, emotions, because I think it's a healthy part of a human being to experience them and to express them. But god damn, man, I mean, it's a lot of guys in this space, a lot of women as well, and in the community at large. We don't know how to resolve conflict, and we do not practice mindfulness techniques at all. No. But then we expect things to get better. We expect our relationships to get better with the opposite sex. We expect our relationships with other people in the community to get better. Just by what? Through osmosis? Through what? Through having like 5, 6, 7 hour conversations?
It used to be what it used to be. It was that's how come you had a standard, right? That's how come you had a set program that no matter what, so you can actually go back and forth and be unhappy and all this kind of shit, but still stay together, keep your family together. The thing is, they blew all that up.
Yeah.
And then they actually didn't replace it with anything, right? You're supposed to actually grow up and figure it out.
Yeah, so the left did this.
Yes.
The left killed all the rituals. They killed religious rituals.
Yes.
And religious rituals, whether you like it or not, they serve a purpose. They separate time qualitatively from other parts of time. Like, okay, now it's not the money-making time. It's time for you to get your motherfucking soul right, to sit down and to praise God for being alive. Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Or it might be, there are times where you have to understand that your life in the context of the universe is small, and that sometimes you have to give yourself, up to what's better and bigger and larger than you.
Yeah.
Like it's the sense of awe, right? That's all been eradicated. Now it's demon time. Now when these people say it's demon time, they ain't lying.
It is negative liberty and hyper individualism. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
People believe in microwave lifestyles, and it doesn't work that way. You got to put it in the oven.
Yeah, that's something I've said too. Is that I think what's lacking with a lot of these women is that they don't have this sense that like we got in the military, is that you give yourself over to something greater than yourself, and you learn to serve, and they don't know what that's like without feeling like they're giving up something, that's irreplaceable. It's like when we give up stuff like that to protect others, to provide for others and stuff, we don't look for that shit back. They do. It's like, nigga, you owe me.
Yeah.
Forever. And that's a shame. I want to go back to the thing about that Gigi said about protecting the mom not putting that's her son in that situation. I mean, you go back to the scene in Conan when the village was burning down, everything. Conan's mom stood in front of a army of motherfuckers and held her sword out, put her son behind her, and dared them to come.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't see that with these. That's the way women used to act. The kids get behind the grown folks. We don't see that shit no more. Folks, get on out there and sacrifice yourself, child. I'll have another one. That's not the way it's supposed to be.
They gave us a fatherless society, and this is what comes with it. When rules aren't put forth in front of your children, this is why I say with my daughter, being a single father, I learned that the alphabet is my best friend. N and O comes after you. You got to learn to tell a motherfucker no and mean it. It hurts them more in the beginning, but they learn later, like, no, I can always deal with you. We can always have the conversation. But if I tell you no in that moment, there's a reason why.
Right.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, going back to something BGS was talking about earlier, in terms of like the male versus the female
Right.
orientation
Yeah.
to society, to rules and norms and things of this nature.
Yeah.
Now, look, here's my viewpoint. Like, different cultures in the past had different, astrological orientation. So, like, everybody, I think if you know about primordial science and shit like this, that like if you got lunar astrology, you're typically gonna have like a preeminence of female deities.
Right, right.
But when you get into solar astrology,
yeah,
you're gonna have a predominance of male deities, right?
Yes.
And so in the lunar astrology, because a woman's body is attuned to the moon, okay?
Yes.
Menstrual cycles mean moon cycles.
It's
literally what it means, right?
Yeah.
So in societies where not to say that just because the society is lunar based that it's matriarchal, because I mean Mesopotamia was lunar based, but it wasn't necessarily matriarchal. Okay.
No.
But they did have an acknowledgement, or they did place a high regard on female deities and they had mother cults and shit like this, right? But then you got like another culture, like say for example ancient Egypt, that maybe at one time the lunar cycle was the preeminent cycle, but eventually the solar cycle became the preeminent one, and like the chief god was like Ra, something like that. Okay. But of course, like men are going to rule predominantly. The male is going to be the central figure in any astrological religion. But the woman, I'm not going to say she's going to be actually like a ruler as much as she's going to be held and venerated in ways that you won't see in an astrological society. I mean, those are just the facts, right? But when it comes to
men build society, women shape it.
In a sense, yeah. It's
to a degree. Like I'm not gonna say that that's wholeheartedly, but I can get where he's going. We built everything up, and all we wanted was a thanks, and now they're telling us you got my ass to kiss.
In the modern society, but the thing is that the thing is that they think they can actually maintain it because it seems to be automatic, but it's not.
I've asked plenty of women. Name me 3 societies by women that have been successful and have run. Just name me 3.
It's the last one was Crete.
How long ago was that?
Ooh, it's about Crete. It doesn't matter. We've got to remember the human race is 2 million years old. The 3,000.
I understand that.
Okay.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
And but the important
Crete was very modern for the time. Well, go ahead, Gigi.
Yeah, you're talking about the Macedonians, not the Macedonians, but like the bull cult,
the bull culture,
bull cult people, the labyrinth and all that. But at the end, the Krakatoans, the people who got burnt up by the volcano.
Yeah.
But like, look, women, like men and women, the society doesn't exist without men and women working in concert together.
In balance, yeah.
Because if you don't have that, if you don't have it, you don't have human beings.
That's like saying I'm gonna sell you this car and it ain't got an engine, but hey, make it work. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, and I was saying, May in my chat, say goodnight, baby. Because I blocked you for a reason. Okay, I'm being nice. So say goodnight.
But yeah, it takes 2 of us to make the things go right. But unfortunately, I think what's happened in this culture is women want to be dudes, man.
Yes.
It is what it is. Women think that masculine energy is so supreme. It's not that they hate masculine energy, it's that they want it for themselves. They covet it for themselves. Yeah. Okay. And so, and the funny thing is these women, they venerate masculinity so much and they want to participate it so much so that they'll do anything to actually fucking attain it or to get it and operate under its terms and principles. Exactly. But then they don't want men operating by feminine principles by any stretch of the imagination. As soon as you show any sign of anything that
Ooh, that's a bar.
as female, they'll call you a bitch or like even the women that were you were talking about earlier,
That's a
right?
bar.
And it's just
Shit.
they bitching, they acting like bitches and bitches.
Shit. Show masculinity. Show masculinity to the utmost. They gonna call you a bitch then too.
But
Bitch
women,
ass nigga.
they as women, as they see it, as it's culturally defined, if they exemplify masculinity, that's awesome. It's great. It's superlative. And then they wonder why men don't acknowledge it as something that's attractive. Okay. But as soon
It's
as
not what we're into.
you see a man acting less than a man,
Right.
or like exemplifying what they would consider to be culturally a feminine characteristic, that's a turn off.
Mhm.
Okay. So all of us supposed to be men now? Like everybody's supposed to behave like a fucking man, even women.
Yeah.
So now
When
we in competition, like you gonna grow a false dick now?
in other words, they basically they hey, what they don't know what they're really trying to do, because they're trying to soften up boys and teach them to be a different way, and then when they get that, then they're trying to call them. I don't want them. They call them
Exactly.
too soft and too feminine and stuff like that. But you train them to be this way.
Yeah.
I have a question for the panel.
Go ahead.
And to all the brothers, do you think at this point, it's starting to be more of a jealousy, um, that black men are just at this point where we're like,
I got
fuck it.
next.
No, it's deeper than that.
I got next. No,
Hold
no.
on,
I love
hold
the question that he
hold
asked.
hold on, hold on. Calm down,
Go ahead.
man.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Calm down.
Yeah, I was saying in regards to the fact that we've got to the point where it's like, you know what, damn if we do, damn if we don't. And at the same time, it's quite evident, it's evident that black males are doing way better in trying to improve their lives, their social economics. You know what I mean? On the visual sense, because back then I think a lot of things weren't as transparent, but now because obviously with these type of spaces, men are like, fuck it, I'm flexing, regardless if you're here or not.
If they lose, if black women lose control of black men, what do they have?
Nothing.
Black women have.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Destitute. Okay, so I'm gonna leave right now, but I love the question that he asked, because when women tell me all the time, "Oh, men and women are equal," I always ask them, "When's the last time you spelled your name on a wall or in the snow?"
No, well, my thing is prove it. Okay, you're equal. Then at least take me out to, like you said, take me out for dinner. Pay my rent. Take me
Oh
out for
no.
dinner. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
take
no.
me out to vacation.
Yeah.
Oh
No, no,
no.
no. Just simply spell your name on a
No,
wall
no, 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 no,
or
no.
in the snow.
That's too small. That's too
It's
small.
too
No,
small, brother.
that's too. Take me for dinner. Take me to dinner.
Take me to where I want to eat.
Date me. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Do
pay
what
a
I
child.
do what I always do. Do what I always do. Put four or five on the bar. Whip it.
My thing is, okay. So if I invite you out, we go out, and do we split the bill? Are we equal? Oh no, you got to pay. See, we're not equal.
Yeah. You pay the alimony. You pay the
Uh,
child
You
support.
know what? You know
So
what I
that's what
told
I
him?
go home and go to
You
sleep like
split
she would
everything
do
in
to me.
half.
So that's what
You
I
know
go
what I
home and go
told
to
him?
sleep on her ass like she would do to me.
Yeah.
You know what I would tell her? I said, if there's a guy jumping out the bushes, I'm getting behind you.
Yep.
There you
You
go.
handle that.
Equal.
Go
You
ahead.
handle
You
it.
strong and
Hey, but
independent.
y'all
Let me
fellas have a good one. Hey, I love y'all. Thank you, BGS, for having me on,
No problem.
and I'll try to come back whenever I can.
All right. Okay. Peace out. Don't be a stranger.
So look, man. Look, at the end of the day, look. All I can say is, man, like it ain't about actually fulfilling a role in terms of provision and money and resources, because like the market killed that shit. There ain't no putting the genie back in the bottle with this. Women are not going to exit the workforce. It's not happening. Okay, so like the idea that the extent to which you're a man is the extent to which you're able to earn money. That's just not the case anymore. Okay, so at the end of the day, man, like all a nigga can ask for is that you submit yourself. If you're a woman, submit to the relationship, man. That's it.
Submission.
Good
Don't
luck. Yeah, that's the biggest thing, and the reason that they're not, white women are saying they're not settling. Okay, so it's not just black women, and that's the biggest problem. You set up this whole system to be equal or equitable, right? Uh, One versus the other, right? There's supposed to be a balance. Guess what? Women don't want the balance. They want the old system. The thing is, you can't have the old system back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's
You'll
gone.
never
Yeah,
retrieve
it's
that.
gone.
It's
So
over.
now we're all fucked. But go ahead, Sachi.
Yeah, the women, like, and I always call them, they want to be pseudo men, right?
Mhm.
But they're not doing what men do. And again, I'm just cold blooded numbers guy, looking at policy, looking at everything. When you look at what they go to college for, what they're graduating in, they're
Mhm.
not at on average in STEM.
Yeah.
High finance, accounting. That's not where they're at. And guess where the money is when they complain about the supposed wage gap, which there really isn't when you look at total benefits. So they're being just disingenuous, or they're naive when some are just blatantly lying. But to get back to this conversation,
Mhm.
again, when you look at, and as Nameless always states, status reports aren't complaints, and I totally agree. So let's look at the status report of the average black woman in this country
Right.
amongst other women. Okay, let's look at the numbers. Supposedly they're the most educated amongst women. Really? Why do you guys have the highest college
Definitely.
debt?
Mhm.
While being in third place amongst the group of four women, being in third place in terms of income. If
Mhm.
you're so educated, if
Mhm.
if it's black girl magic. Also, why are you guys leading per capita amongst women in STD rates? Why are you guys leading amongst women in capital, in per capita in terms of obesity and being, just being fat? Why are you guys also leading in terms of, and shout out to Gigi and Dr. T in bilateral violence, domestic violence? Why
Mhm.
are you guys leading in multiple baby daddies amongst all women, especially when you get beyond the two baby fathers?
Mhm.
The numbers skyrocket. So
Yeah.
so they're leading in everything that doesn't have anything to do with progress
And
amongst a group or society.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
How are you so good? How are you so great? Just looking
Because
at it for what it is. You're
because they
not.
because they say so.
Well, and again, my retort: smile, nod, walk away. It's really that simple. Because it's crazy. It's
It is.
schizophrenic.
It is schizophrenic. I mean, to piggyback on what you're saying, Sauchi, I had a sister who's she makes about 130, right? And she keeps talking about, well, I see so many other black women. I said, first of all, do you actually know the hard numbers of women, or just women who make six figures, let alone black women?
Mhm.
Like, don't and she battles. I think she battles. She does, and I sent her the video BGS that you did on Octane, right?
Right. Right.
And what I realized is that this sister can't decipher a proper social class for mating.
Mhm.
And one of the things that she continues to, you could tell she lives a corporate job. She does this. She got the
Mhm.
house. Yeah, she has a child of wedlock, but she
Oh God.
still wants to affiliate with the, like, when I look at they, why are you fucking with this dude, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's a climber, right? Where she comes from.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
She's a climber. In other
Right.
words, where she start? Did she start like working class? She started projects. Where she start?
Started from the projects.
She's a climber. So the climbers are really difficult because they got two choices: either adapt to the class that they're in or revert. And she decided to revert. So in other words, she got the job, she got the house. But the thing is, the kind of guy that she's comfortable with still comes from the projects.
Yeah.
She's a climber.
Yeah, and I told, that's why I sent her that video, because some women will get apprehensive. So I say, no, don't watch this. And I don't think she still gets it.
Well, if she's so willing, as a favor to you, just send me an email. I'll do it on my women's channel. We can walk her through it if she wants to. But thing is, that's up to her. It's really not that hard. If you're a climber, you have to make a decision. Is she happy with the guys that she gets?
No, man. One.
I mean, she
Yeah,
keeps picking them. Is she happy with them? Is that the kind of guy that she likes?
I see what you're saying, but no, they all ends up in catastrophe. Something.
It's because she's well. She's okay. This is what I'm thinking, right?
Hmm.
Catch me if I'm wrong, right? She likes these guys because she's comfortable with them because they have the ghetto edge to them, right?
Hmm.
Yes, she did
Okay,
say it. Yep.
and and she can control them. Well, what
Yeah.
she's trying to do is she's trying to pull him up to her level, and she gets mad when they don't go up there.
It's funny you
Yeah.
say that because BJS. I remember we went out, grabbed some food, and I was driving the car, right? Because
Mhm.
she has a smaller vehicle, I got a big truck.
Yeah.
Man, listen, driving to the restaurant, man, she was like, "Oh, you watch out, turn left, turn right." I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
damn,
Yeah.
everything you just said, I'm sitting in my mind. I'm
Yeah.
like, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, she's mommying him, and she hasn't. And the thing is that it's going to take her. It's going to take her being aware of who she is. But otherwise, man, get you. If other than that, man, get you a dude. Get you a soft dude that's not ambitious, that you can mommy and control him, and be happy with it. Pay for the dude, and be happy with it, because you like little. You not little. Not to
Yeah,
denigrate the dude. You like dudes that are street dudes that have some kind of edge, but not too ambitious. Because if you got a guy on your level, on her level, they'd clash. She couldn't do that to him.
Yeah.
fair
So
enough.
she's reverting back to her old ways, and something that's been passed down, and she's gotten comfortable with it. But it's frustrating because, okay, I want this guy on this level so I can actually show him off to my coworkers. Okay,
Yeah.
who are who are her 5 best friends? Okay, that she hangs out with. What
Oh,
level are they?
they way low level.
And
And
that's
that's
who she
Well,
is.
that's who she is. She has a 92 job, but she's an 85 or an
It-
87 at best.
Yeah,
yeah, and I call that they're trying to bat out of their, out of
The,
their level.
well,
That's
the thing is, she went to school, she got an
yeah,
education, she's making money, but that's not the thing. Is that when I describe octanes, does she embody the corporate
that's right.
mentality? And she doesn't.
No.
She backs down. So she's really an 85 with a good job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm,
There's a whole lot of those.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing is, man. If I finish the book of the Octanes, man, I can't put all this stuff into it. I said, should I just put out a standard book kind of overview and then separate them or something like that? Because I really don't know what to do, because it would be like a 1,000-page book.
Oh,
If
volumes.
volume, okay, all right,
yeah,
all right.
well,
We gonna buy it.
Okay, I'll put out the overview, which is the standard, and then I'll do one octane at a time, because I can't figure out how to put all this stuff in the book, because it's
yeah,
just too much. Yeah, like the
yeah,
simple fact about a climber, and why she reverts back to where she is. You can't put all that into one book. It's kind of
yeah.
hard.
No, you're right, just because and I've known this sister for a long time, and
Mm,
the men that she so continuously
hmm.
interacts with,
Yeah.
it's like, the last dude, came out of jail, was
Oh
working on
gosh.
you,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, bought a house, and all of a sudden he a scammer, this, that,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's just like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. 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 Because that's what she likes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a natural 92 would not be seen dead with a guy like that, not even close. And if she does have sex with him, he's got his bagel and his coffee and his orange juice in the morning at 4:30 before
Yeah.
the neighbors gets up.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, you ain't lying, like chaotic. And the sad part about that, BGS, is
Mhm.
again, she was like, I'm gonna help him get his crib, and then now it's like,
Yeah,
oh well, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, and I
yeah,
see, like you said, the whole control
yeah.
development. Oh, I helped him do this and that, and it's like, and I'm sitting here like, it's a head scratcher, right? And I'm looking at her like, yo, you're almost 40, man.
I have Black Wizard. I have no clue about what you're talking about, man. Don't know what you're talking about. I have no clue. Anyway, man, it's just like it's going on 2 hours. I didn't even mean. I still got to do a show. So
You know
this is
what?
just an impromptu.
I
Go.
know you were doing impromptu, but in the back of my mind, I was like, nigga. I was about to post.
The Gemini got the Gigi knows the Gemini got the best of me today. Said I had to
You
respond to
know, I'm just here to bring a little Aries in your heart. But
that.
I'm just
the evil I had to respond to them. I said this. So why you at me? If you could have just, done your video, I would never known about it. But you had to mention me at me. So
well, people always want to try to stir up the pot. It's like,
man,
it's sad when you have a bunch of ugly girls with no men. A lot of these bitches are dickless in Seattle. So I mean, you got to get the attention.
Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get the attention somewhere. See, it's the voice, BGS. I don't have that, that overly baritone the voice, But
It's a blessing and a curse, sir. It's a
I
blessing.
mean, you attract these crazy bitches, man.
Yeah.
What
Provocation,
my man say? What
provocation,
my
and
man?
So what,
Well,
Gigi?
provocation and consternation.
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
man, man,
All
man,
you
man,
got to
man.
do is go to YouTube and be like, BGS, that crazy bitch out here again.
Oh man, there's so many of them, man. There's so many of them. But the thing is, I wanted because it was them, and they said they had impugned my character. I had to respond on this channel. It wasn't just a beef. Let me show you the whole clip because it's still up, right? And the way she chopped it up, it's like, and said that was in context. I said, what does in context mean? I said that wasn't even close. That was hit job.
Yeah, that was deliberate.
It was deliberate. Yeah. Anyway, y'all. Closing thoughts. Let me get out of here. Let me go ahead and take a nap.
Peace out.
Yeah.
You okay? I was going to ask him, was he going to do anything today? Uh, you doing good, Rodney? I know you sent me an email, um, so get in contact. She's been doing that for like 20 years. So see what she
She
can
knows
do for
better.
you. Yeah,
She definitely knows better.
yeah. I'm talking about Rodney, but
Say
Oh,
again.
I said, so what's her name? She's been doing it for 20 years. So
Yeah.
see if she can actually help you out with finding somebody.
Yeah, I think she hit me up yesterday, and
Okay.
we corresponded, went back and forth a little bit. She probably responded again today. I'll check
Oh,
before I go in.
oh, okay, yeah, because she said that's what she does. So you know,
Yeah, I think everybody left town, man. I think there's only like 4 people here in town. For some reason, we lost a lot of doctors and a lot of
yeah, a lot of folks, a
other
lot
medical
of
staff. Yeah,
yeah. I don't know what it is. It must be something. Yeah. Oh, or there's more money elsewhere.
yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, but well, hit me up, man. If you have any problems, I'll see if
definitely,
I can find other people. Um,
definitely.
yeah, but she said I've talked to her. She's pretty good at what she does. So that's why I sent you to her first. So
Good.
you
Well,
know,
that's who I'm gonna deal with
yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah. Even though she's the other persuasion, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah,
If she works, it works.
yeah. All right, all right. Closing thoughts,
Definitely.
folks.
I'll start off, BJS. Thank you so much, man. So, thank you for the space, man, because it's helped me process and heal a lot faster. If I
But
need
no, man, that's bullshit. We don't help people, man. We
No.
don't help you heal. It's bullshit, man. You just heard the
Right.
girls. We don't help y'all heal, man. We trauma bond you and re-traumatize you and shit like that.
But see, they do that shit over there where people who can't respond accordingly, to make them accountable for the shit that they're saying, and they continue to do it. And these guys just let them do it. Hood conservative and all them guys over there and shit. They just, oh yeah, 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 and total line with them and stuff. But other than that, they should know better. They spend enough time over here, especially with you, to
Yeah,
know better,
yeah.
but they don't. And I think that now it's about money with them.
Oh, and that's fine, man. That's fine. The thing is that if they should let me know this is the direction we're going in, and go make your money, man. There's people that have
Exactly.
done that. The thing is that means that I won't be over there. You do
Right.
go do if you want to
yeah,
make your money, go do your thing.
Right.
I have no problem with people making their money. I don't believe in poor righteous teachers anyway. If that's want to
Right.
chase your cash, why don't you just go ahead and sell out completely?
Right.
Stop with this middle stuff. Just
Because
go ahead.
it's low level contempt, and you can
Yeah,
hear it. It's especially this stuff where they keep throwing. I'm gonna tell you where it really went off the rails is when they start seeing Pearl,
yeah,
and in their minds, even though we weren't supporting Pearl,
right.
in their minds, we were in league with Pearl.
Yeah,
So then it's like y'all done picked Miss Ann, and then they just, went for it, all of us. Like
yeah.
we were just in total support of her. Like we were just, yeah, 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 Pearl. Nobody was doing that.
what's to piggyback. This reminds me of the last reaction you did, BJS, with the preacher. I call it the female version of Brother Polite.
Yeah,
It's funny how they dissect her, but they regurgitate some of these behavior patterns
yeah, yeah.
that
They do.
you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and it's just the psychological strangeness that comes out of that. It's
They,
just
the thing is, they do it unconsciously. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I've
they do.
caught them a few times. It's not even conscious. It's it's so normalized that they think that this is actually love. They really do. And that's the
And they
problem.
don't even think about it. You
They
can
don't even
tell
think
they
about
don't. They
it.
don't think about
They
it.
don't think about it.
And
Yeah.
and even with that Princella thing, it's like, why do you feel like you have to act like us in order for you to get respect and notoriety? Why do
Yeah.
you have to act like a man? Why do you have to posture like a man? Why do you have to do all these things? That's
Because
just not.
because women love pimping. They do.
Yeah.
I heard it in her voice. They said, she gonna make some money. Women will actually go for her.
Hmm.
You're doing two shit. You're talking shit about men. You got the whole tep thing going on, and plus you're
Yeah.
doing with pimp's language.
Yeah.
So yeah,
The
a
Yeah.
whole
pimp's
hat
pimp's
turned
business.
around, the old
Oh yeah, yeah,
snazzy.
yeah,
I sit with my legs open because
yeah, yeah,
that's how a woman's supposed to
yeah,
sit. Just,
yeah, yeah,
just making up
yeah,
this
man. Yeah,
mythology as she goes.
there she goes. Yeah,
It's
but
bullshit.
it's not good pimping, but thing is, it's close enough
Yeah,
to sell on
yeah.
YouTube.
It
Yeah.
sounds. It carries the cadence
It does
of
carry
good
the game.
pimping.
It does. It does. When I first heard it, I said, okay. So
Yep.
I hear it. I hear it. If
Yep.
girls, the Sister George and Concrete Rose finally heard it too. Said, oh yeah, we hear it now.
Yeah.
We hear
Yeah.
it now.
It's in there.
It's in there.
But yeah, man. Thank you for everything you do, man. I was glad I
No
got
man,
got
no
a chance
man.
to get up here.
You know what? I never thank you, man. But I thank Mike from Austin. But
Hmm.
man, y'all saved my mother's life, man. You guys really did, and my daughters by teaching me. Because had I put my mother on that tube when she got COVID, man, she'd have died. Okay, and
Yeah.
I know it. That's why I'd never let her go. So I can never thank you enough, man. I can't.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
Yeah,
Anytime you need me, I'm here.
okay. I can never thank you enough. So, from the
And
bottom of
I'm
my heart.
still keeping up with it. It's I'm still keeping up with it. It's I may come back on and do a little bit more stuff because it's still out there, but
It hasn't gone away.
no,
The thing is that it's it's uncomfortable to talk about because especially during politics, right?
right.
It-
And
It's,
it's
go ahead.
politically untenable right now.
It is, even though it's never gone away because
Right.
it's even hard to find stats on it now because they
Yeah.
hide it. Yeah,
And like they took us out of mask and everything, took a
yeah,
lot of our protective measures away and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
And I was talking to a virologist on Twitter,
yeah.
and I told her everything that was going on, and she was like, "That is insane."
It is. Okay. It
you
is.
know and we're constantly getting people when we get admissions in from hospital to hospital.
Yeah,
We have to keep them on a 72-hour hold because we know that there's a possibility where they picked it up at the
yeah.
hospital to transfer it from wherever they're going to.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10 the people that we're getting in, they have it.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
And we're not taking, and folks are not taking any kind of precautions.
Because guess what? Biden said happy days are here again. He cut all the protocols.
Yeah.
For a whole bunch of reasons. Actually invite me to my next time I do a Patreon behind the wall. We
Definitely.
can actually talk about it. Yeah.
Definitely. And I'll try to make myself available too. I'm gonna have to quit working so much, man.
Evidently not, man. Evidently, with shit you got going on, man, and you're gonna need that money. So
They are killing me, man.
yeah. And I'm sure that there's a lack of nurses where you are too.
Oh yeah, and it's all over. I may get off into that with you too if you want to get into that.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
Later, fellas.
All right. Closing thoughts, folks.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
As usual. Appreciate you, BGS, and you're the last boss.
Did you see the Duran this morning, man?
No, I didn't see it yet.
Okay. But they had Jeffrey Sachs on it talk about China and the BRICS. You might want to check that one out, man. For the first 30 minutes, man. They kind of went deep a little bit, man. A little deep. So
okay, I'll definitely check it out. I mean, obviously, I definitely heard Powell earlier, which I wasn't surprised. I mean, he's saying exactly what he's been saying pretty much this whole year, so it's not a surprise.
Is he gonna put a hold to it? Is he gonna raise
it?
Yeah,
he's saying right now that they're gonna hold, but if necessary, they will raise. But he already said, months ago that they were gonna raise 2 times. They pretty much have, and right now it's just looking at the rate because people. I don't want to go too deep into it, but they're expressing the CPI, but what's really going on is the rate at which inflation is actually going down. See, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, nominally it looks like it's going down, but when you really look at the real, it's a whole different story.
And they ain't mixed in fuel, and they haven't
And
mixed
housing.
in. And God, housing. Ooh, I don't even want to talk about that. That's scary. That's fucking
Yes.
scary. Housing and commercial, we don't want to talk about. But the thing is, they haven't priced in that yellow freight shit, man. With the trucking, man. Prices will go up.
Yeah.
Yellow freight alone.
Yeah.
Just on the yellow freight, and then UPS, the raise, and then I'm sure FedEx is behind that. So man, it's gonna go up.
And last and there are, companies. It's quiet though. Obviously, companies are laying people off.
Ooh.
So like, but it's really quiet. So again, and I know that they just Labor Department, they just updated their the unemployment.
Yeah.
So, and they have to, because one obviously older folks are retiring. They're like, fuck all this bullshit. That's one thing. And then two, you're getting what a lot of people not talking about is that a lot of people are working multiple jobs.
Yeah.
So yes, on the surface, yes, it looks like we have a vibrant workforce. But when you look at the productivity levels, it's in the shithole. Yeah. So this is a lot of lying going on.
A lot of things, and plus you got to remember that they okayed driverless taxis in San Francisco maybe last month. So that stuff will start to roll downhill. So
yeah, yep.
It's gonna, in the next couple of years, man. It's gonna be something. So hold on to your hats.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks, Salchi. Appreciate
Thank you.
I'm just gonna say this. Hopefully, I might do what time are you doing your show? Around 5 Eastern time?
It basically, what was it? Yeah,
in 2 hours.
Yeah, in a couple hours. Yeah.
All right. So, I'm probably. What's the show gonna be about this time?
I'm gonna do good grief. Something from Psychax about about the 5 things that the 5 possible outcomes of a high value woman, right? And dying alone is the last one, but yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna do that. And tell me what you think about the last stream. I put it in a community chat about the principles of protection.
No,
and tell me what you think about it.
Basically, you're right. You're spot on. The thing is, guess what? Women aren't gonna go by it because they want to be in charge. Did you see the thing that Kev put up about the chick that had her son shoot her ex-boyfriend, murdered her ex-boyfriend, and then testified against him?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the son husband that was sent on a kamikaze mission, and now she's trying to steer her butt?
Basically, she drove him to the spot, had him get out with the gun and confront him. He shot him 6 times, got back in the car, and she drove off with him, and went to the funeral the next day. But the thing is, when it came to trial, basically, she said she threw him under the bus because he got life, and she got what is 3rd degree, and she planned all this. So, and basically, what I was going to say about that is basically the system wanted him and not her. So they
because remember, gentlemen, men are the prize. Don't let these bitches fool you.
I'm gonna tell you,
you are the target.
I think I might do a show on that, because I'm gonna just tell you. See, the thing I love about my principles of protection, women don't have to like it, but you don't. What did Batman say? I ain't gotta kill you, but I ain't gotta save you either.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's what I think men should be on. I ain't gotta hurt you. I ain't even gotta talk bad about you.
But that's
why
why
damn sure don't have to say.
That's why it's a gynocracy, because it's sending attack dogs on mission.
I'll tell you what, if I see your son come out the car and he's on some suspicious shit, the before armed is the before born.
Yep.
Guys said, may God bless this little nigga.
All right. Closing thought, Chaos, before we
Yeah.
get out of here?
BGS. It would be nice that if the book is coming out this year or next year, depending on how much
Is it later this year?
Oh, it's coming. Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
I said you said 1,000 pages. There's 2
Oh
ways to do it.
no. This game gonna be that big, man. No.
Okay, okay. All right,
It would be if it was probably be more than that if it was actually complete with everything. That probably
all right.
needs
Well, you're probably gonna get little snippets, not much, because we got the visuals here on YouTube to really watch it. But if you were going to do something like that big of a massive project, usually breaking down segments would make sense, like 250 at least each possible, and that'd be like four books possibly. But that, I would say if you had to go that route, if you have to.
I'm gonna do the overview first and see how that goes, and if I need to break it down into sections, which I probably will, then I'll probably do like one octane at a time because there's just too much to actually go over, and the combinations and all that kind of crap is just too much. So
Okay.
so
So I project that this when people do get this book, that's what you're gonna put. You look at roughly 300 more pages.
it's probably about between probably about 350, maybe 400, about 300
Okay.
pages.
Okay.
It's a decent
That's easy. That's light work, gentlemen, to read that. I mean, even with Dr. Curry, I wish he formatted the words a little different, but like I said, everybody has to print it out some way because they have to lay out certain conversations, and depending on the words, it'd been better. But like I said, every writer is different how they want their book to come out.
He wrote his book for the academics, and he made it dense on purpose so he can actually get
Okay.
we get through.
So it's dense. It's gonna be like small words. Like
it was with the okay. Because they printed Dr. T's book the same way with small words because they didn't think it was actually going to make money. So they try to compact.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because the academic books don't normally sell. So they only sells between 300 and 1,000 books at the top. So they try to cram in and make it as small a book as possible, physical, and cram as much words into the book as possible. Because they don't think it will sell. But the thing is, we're gonna make sure that Dr. T's book sells so that his next one will actually get printed better. But that's a different story. Anyway,
okay.
All right, y'all. All right. Let me thank a couple of people. Go Professor, appreciate you. Toya, as always, babe. I can't date you, but I love you. Okay. Gregory, thank you. Who else? D-Rock, what's going on? Thank you. Marshan, thank you. Vincent, appreciate you. And as always, Salty, appreciate you. And with that, folks, I'm out. I'm going to take a nap, and I'll see you guys maybe at 2:30. All right? So peace out.